Great stuff. And here in studio, we are super excited to have the winner of the 2024 Cocodona 250, Rachel Entrekin, with us. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
You did pronounce it correctly. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm actually really shocked. I was expecting to have to correct you. So,
Well,
bravo.
All right. No worries. I am glad I asked and make sure that we are saying things correctly. It is, it's not fun when people mispronounce your
I don't care. It's such
Okay.
it's such a weird last name. I always tell myself, like, I'm just going to marry somebody with the last name like Smith so that I can just be done with it. But now I think I might keep my last name.
Okay. Embrace
it's kind
it.
of like a thing now is
Awesome.
to keep your last name.
Awesome. Well, Rachel, thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First of all, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm happy to get to sit for
I bet you are.
while.
I
Yeah.
bet you are. You seem to have way too much energy for having just run the race. Did I hear you got some good sleep?
I did, yeah. We went and got pizza last night. And it was
Nice.
spectacular.
Nice.
And then I think I slept at least like probably 10 hours. So I feel pretty good. And I took like 4 naps yesterday.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, we'll hear all about that. First thing we would love just to hear a little bit about your background. You know, many of the folks tuning in might not know you. Could you just tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you got into ultras?
Yeah. So I got into ultra running, I guess, like 15 years ago now, probably. I did my first marathon in 2010.
Okay.
I'm from Alabama, so I did the Birmingham
Was it
marathon.
a road marathon?
It was road, yeah.
We forgive you.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We all have our past things. But yeah, so I did a road marathon then. I met a guy named Joe who was a trail runner.
Okay.
At that race, we met at mile 4. He was one of those weirdos in like a full body, like neon suit. And I was like,
Nice.
I want to run with this guy.
Yep.
So I ran with him. We finished together and he was like, you should get into trail running. Like trail running's better.
Yeah.
And so I signed up, I think the next week for like a trail. It was a 42K.
Okay.
Which is the same thing. But I did that and I actually hated it. I thought it was so much slower. I did not understand. I hated the hills.
Okay.
I was like, this is so inefficient. Why would I ever do this again?
Yep.
And then I obviously didn't actually believe that. So I just kept signing up for like trail, usually not past the marathon distance.
Okay.
And then in 2013, I did a 50K. And then I was pretty sold after that. But I did have a pretty systematic like increase in my distances. So I did like 50Ks, did 50 milers, did 12-hour events.
Okay.
Because I also really love fixed time events.
Yeah.
I love pretty much all facets of running. I actually really love road running. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And then I like the fixed time and the fixed distance. But yeah, I did some 12 hours, did some 100Ks.
Okay.
I did a 24-hour actually to see if I could do a 100-miler.
Got it.
So I did that, and then once I kind of passed the 100-mile distance, I was like, okay, I can probably just do this. And then,
Okay.
And then here we are at 250 miles, which is wild.
So the furthest distance, real quick, we are just going to show 576. Dave McBride coming in to finish the Sedona Canyons 125.
Go, Dave.
Making that turn. Oh, he went real fast. Our speed just. Definitely want to just get the finish line here for Dave.
So have you done this with every finisher? You're like, this is this person.
Yeah,
That's cool.
we're trying to really highlight every single finisher that we can. Yep, it's important. It's so it's a big deal for every single person.
That's
so
really cool.
Yeah. All right, back to the conversation, Rachel.
Yeah.
Sorry for that interruption,
It's
but
cool. What was the question?
yes,
Was
I
answering
think
something?
we were talking about your first ultra was in 2013.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to know what your furthest distance you've done before this was.
Okay, so I actually did Aravaipas across the years.
Nice.
Earlier this year. And I did almost 213.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
so
That's
I got
a 48 hour?
I did the 48. Yeah.
Okay.
It has actually events up to 6
Yeah.
days. But yeah, I did the 48 and I finished in about 46 and a half hours because I
Okay.
was pretty sleepy and I just was like, I think the next person was a good bit behind me and I just wanted to get I wanted to qualify for the Spartathlon team.
Okay.
And so I got 202 and then I actually felt really good. And so I was like, well, I could just kind of keep going.
Yeah.
So I just kept going. And then, at around like 46 hours. I was like,
Nice.
I don't really. All my like goals had kind of been met, and I was just like out there for bonus stuff.
Yeah.
So I was pretty okay with calling it. But
And that's around a track, correct?
This year I think it was 1.4 miles, and that was such a good distance.
Or is it a track? I can't remember.
It's not a track. It's like a multi-surface.
Okay. Loop
thing.
1.4 mile loop.
Yeah, it's at the Diamondback Ranch.
We should
Ranch?
know this, but Camelback Ranch.
Right.
Thank you. Okay.
But yeah, it's actually I'm from Los Angeles, and it's the LA training camp for
Got
the
it.
Dodgers,
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
So I was sending photos to all my friends, like, look where I am. I'm at the LA training camp thing.
Nice. All right, so you had done 213 miles, but only 48 hours on
Yeah,
feet.
this was very different.
Okay.
Yeah, this was really different. I mean, I knew going in, because I wanted to do the 48 in preparation to see if I could even do 200 miles.
Okay.
On just like what that felt like and how I was going to recover from it, and like mentally what that, because you get on the start line and you're like, oh my God, I have such a long way to go. Like, I'm going to Flagstaff.
Good to know that everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's just a massive, 100 miles is a massive, 50 miles is a massive number.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing it all on foot. So I just wanted to see how I was going to react to like the possibility of 200 miles. But across the years I loved it this year. I thought they did change the course a little bit. They went from a 1 mile track to 1.4, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you had to do way less laps, which was mentally really wonderful.
Sure.
And then I just stopped less at the aid station because I was going past it less. And so, but yeah, I felt really amazing. And so I was really excited coming into this race because I was like, cool. I knew it was going to be different, but I was excited to kind of see what was going to happen.
What inspired you to do this race?
It got on my radar last year. I guess in a way that I was like, maybe I could do this race someday. I don't know. This year, I think I kind of wanted to full send running this year a little bit, I think. So I made the Spartathlon team at Across the Years. So I'll be going to Greece in September, and it's 150 something miles from Athens to Sparta, which is going to be neat. So I made that team. I want to try to make the 24-hour team for the US too.
Okay.
And then what felt to me like a really good like round year was like, all right, well, I'll just do Cocodona 250. And I love Aravaipa's races. I think they're super well put on. So, if I'm going to do a 200 miler, this is going to be the one that I'm going to do, is a company that I love and respect, and like a beautiful, I've only run in Arizona around a 1 mile track. So it's kind of nice to like
able to actually see a lot of the entire state.
Sedona is so perfect. So
nice.
And it was just from start to finish, that course is so beautiful.
Cool.
So,
cool. So let's talk about the race a little bit. All right. So tell us about one thing we observed from this side was that you were not stopping to sleep when a lot of other people were, or on night one. Was that planned? Tell us a little bit about kind of that first day.
I planned nothing.
Okay.
I planned because I think I've wasted a lot of time in the past trying to plan stuff. And it just, nothing goes according to plan. So like, why am I going to waste time worrying about it? I don't know. I just didn't really plan much.
Okay.
I had a really awesome crew. That kind of a couple, like the days and weeks leading up to the race, I was like, all right, guys, like, what we're trying to do here. Like, I trust you. I'm just going to do whatever you tell me on the race day. And so I hadn't really, through the 48 hour, I knew that I could get through 2 days without sleeping. Cause I didn't sleep at all across the years.
Okay.
So I knew that I could go at least 48 hours without sleep. So I think the first rest that I took, I got really ill. I think it was I don't know how to do nutrition at all. That was one thing I learned this race. But I got really sick. I think around mile 130, maybe. I don't quite remember. Right in Jerome. I got really hot and I just felt awful. And so I took an hour nap, and my crew actually, I got to thank them for it. Cause I was like, I want 10 minutes, like, and then I want to leave. And they were like, no. Like, and so I wound up actually being off course for about 3 hours. And it was during the heat of the day. I got back on course, and I was like, I feel like I've just slept for 8 hours. Like,
Yeah.
that was such a good call.
So you were off course for 3 hours, but you slept about an hour?
I slept about 2 hours.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
I slept about 2 hours from like probably like 1:30 to 3:30, I guess. And so it was really hot, and I just missed all of that.
You
And
also
Jerome was pretty hot.
you also listened to your crew though, and
Yeah.
that is. I mean, you could very well be like, I'm not. No, you better wake me up and you know.
Yeah, my crew chief Evan. I mean, I ran 100 miles with him. We did Rio del Lago together.
Wow.
And I mean, I just trusted I've run tons of miles with every single person on my crew. I just trusted them. And I think they probably know more what I'm capable of than I know. So I just, I was joking with everybody. It feels like Formula One race car driving, where it's like, I'm just the car. Like, I don't have a say. I'm just doing it. Like, you guys are the one who
work on me. Tell me what to do. Move
Exactly.
me. Tell me when to start and stop.
Yeah.
We were doing a lot of F1 references in here. We were like, what are we doing with F1 references during a 250-mile race? But at the same time, like, you just extend it out, and it kind of is the same thing. Like the pit stop, we saw Joe McConaughey come in and lay down, and they would work on him, and they'd do this, and they'd shove stuff in his face, and it's kind of like it's not a bad analogy for sure.
I mean, I just like I said, going into the race, I told them, like, here's what we're doing. I'm just, unless I'm at risk of a serious injury or like death or something, or if I'm just not having any fun at all and haven't for like hours and hours, then like just keep me out there. Because everything in these races, I mean, and that's another thing I learned in this race, is there's just so much time for things to turn around. There's so much time. Because at Jerome, I felt awful. And and I actually picked up another pacer, Peter, in the next section, and I got sick again. And he was actually telling me this morning, he was like, yeah, I didn't know what we were going to do. Like, I thought you were going to have to like drop. Because I was not doing well.
When you say you got sick, we need details here.
How many details do you want?
I mean, these are ultra running fans, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
I was throwing up a lot.
Okay. All right.
I was throwing up
Vomiting a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And I don't know. I mean, like I said, my nutrition was definitely my nutrition is not my strong point. I can and have gotten away with doing 100 miles eating almost nothing, which I do not recommend, by the way. But yeah,
that's scary to know what it's gonna look like when you can't feel well.
Yeah.
Very good.
And I learned a lot. I actually learned a lot. So I had one female on my crew named Chalice, and she was like the turning point, I think, in this race. Because my crew and my pacers, they were all like, "Oh, you have to eat stuff." And I don't know. I just like, when a man tells you to eat stuff, you're like, well, I don't want to. But Chalice was like, here, have like a pretzel. And I was like, okay. And like, she had this idea of like, well, we don't need to eat a lot. We just need to eat small amounts often. And that was like
the key.
Key.
Got it.
That was the key. And so, I mean, from that, I picked her up.
Sorry, Rachel, really, really fast.
Oh, yeah, get the finisher guy.
We got bib 44.
I
Christoph
know that
Tuscher.
guy.
Oh, Rachel knows him. Portland, Oregon. He's in the 250. He's coming in to finish out his race.
Running fast.
He is pumped that he is finishing.
Yeah, he does a lot of FKTs.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Rachel knows him. She's given us the intel right here on the spot. Mm-hmm. She's become a commentator now. But he's getting very close, so we are going to definitely just stay on him for a moment.
We've also got another runner coming in with different cams, Keegan cam.
We got the Cameron cam? Or
This is Keegan. We have Keegan and
Curtis. The Curtis cam and the Keegan cam out there. Following runners in at the finish. All right, we getting close here. If you're just joining us, we are following in all the finishers. Oh, having some fun. Wow. I love it. Man, doing some parkour as he enters. Yeah, right. This is bib 44 finishing up the Cocodona 250.
Running it in for a strong finish.
And then this other one is Tom Hugeners from Brooklyn, New York.
Tom from Brooklyn, New York, also coming in.
Also a 250 runner.
Tom is a 125.
Okay. Tom, who you're not looking at right now, but is behind this runner, is a 125 runner. Getting ready to finish. People are loving the interview. We will be back to the interview with Rachel in just a moment. Nice finish line cam. Steve Adderholt is back over there after starting the Elden Crest race. That's race director Steve Adderholt. The Elden Crest 38 started this morning at 7 local time, 7 a.m. local time.
I was asleep.
Good for you. You
Rachel
should be.
was still asleep.
Rachel was asleep. Man, he's got all the vibes. Airplane arms coming in.
Under 100 hours.
Yeah. 99 hours and 46 minutes he's been out there.
And now we got Tom coming in here.
And what's Tom's last name?
Hubeners.
Hubeners. Tom Hubeners, Brooklyn, New York. Finishing the 125. Way to go. Great stuff. Congrats to those runners. All right, we are chatting with the race winner, Rachel Entrekin, female race winner. And yeah, you're telling us a little bit about how you were not feeling well, getting sick multiple times after, that first day and a half. But just going back a little bit, I'm curious, what were your goals going into the race?
So my only real goal was to be in a bed asleep on Thursday night. That was my only goal.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's a time goal of finish before Thursday night.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I did not, it could be 3 a.m. Did not care. As
Okay.
long as it was nighttime on a Thursday adjacent.
Got it.
That was the biggest goal I had. I mean, I guess loosely that's about 85 hours or and under.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't love setting time-based goals. So that kind of felt like an objective, I can just be asleep.
Okay.
On Thursday. Because that's just it's such a long time. And I don't know. I knew I was going to, I'd rented a really nice rental van that had a bed in the back and stuff, but it's just you're not going to sleep very well in there. So yeah, I really wanted to try to finish by Thursday.
Okay.
But that was the only one.
That was the only goal. Okay. So how did you feel at that point in time? You're not feeling great, but were you aware that you were leading the race?
Was I leading? I don't know. I was always kind of aware that I was doing well.
Okay.
But it was always kind of, there were 3 or 4 of us at all times who just kind of passed the baton back and forth.
Yeah.
So I know when I came into Jerome, I was in first, and that was a little hard to just be I have to get off the course for 3. Because I knew a bunch of people were going to pass me. And that is, I am competitive. So it was a little hard to just be okay, you're right. But it wasn't going to be productive running. And I can't remember who in my crew said that, but I was just you're right, it's not.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And like I said before, there is just a lot of time in these races, and you can turn anything around. So I just figured, and my crew was telling me if you get out during the heat of the day, then you'll feel better later. Do we want to watch this person come in?
Yeah, let's watch him
all
come
right.
in.
Look at the crew. Goodness gracious.
Kiddo
Got
in
the whole
stroller,
family.
too.
Oh, kiddo.
Say this is Shannon, James, and Donald. Shannon and Donald James.
Oh, a couple.
They're both from Costa Mesa, California.
Are they in the 125?
Yep, both of them. So it's Shannon and Donald.
Shannon and Donald James.
Yep.
Wonder if I assume they ran the whole race together. That's awesome.
The whole family.
Running it in with the family and signs and all kinds of stroller.
And a kiddo on the back too.
Oh my
Look at
gosh. if this is like a nanny, this is impressive, or could be a daughter. I don't know. That nanny needs to drop her info in the chat. Just kidding. Here, let me and my husband go run 100 miles while you take care of our kids, and then run in with us with one on your back. That's awesome.
How long has the 125 been going on?
I think last year was the first year.
Okay. Well, I meant like how.
Oh, how long has the race been going on? What's the time of it? So it started yesterday morning or Wednesday morning at 7 or 8 in the morning. So, I don't know what they're at from a hour standpoint, but
49 hours.
That would make sense. 49 hours. It's got a 65-hour cutoff because it goes to the end of the whole race. So really generous cutoff, but. Congratulations to Shannon and Donald James, who just finished the Sedona Canyons 125. All right, so we're back to the story of Rachel Entrekin's race, and you're in Jerome, and
everything sucks. Yeah,
everything sucks. And there was a chat question about how you worked through that. So, tell us how you kind of reset. Sounds like you slept for about 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only way I worked through it was just sleeping. That was And that kind of, we actually wound up using that method twice of you feel bad, just go to sleep. And it was, I sleep so horrifically that I'm actually really thankful that during this race, if I needed time off the course, I could just go to sleep.
Wow.
And it was such a nice reset. So I went to sleep, woke up, brushed my teeth, I think, 8, and then I just left. And it really, I mean, it was such a cool race. I don't know. Everything kind of
brushed your teeth. Had some food. It's like any regular morning.
Yeah,
and then left.
Yeah. And I remember telling my pacer right out. And again, I mean, that section after Jerome actually wound up being terrible for me anyway, because I wound up getting sick on that section too.
Okay.
But I remember after that 2 hours of sleep, I was telling Peter, my pacer, I was like, I feel like I've slept for 8 hours. I feel like I just ran 20 miles yesterday, and I don't even feel like I'm at mile 130 right now. I feel amazing. So good. Which was dramatic irony for later on in that section when I got sick again. And
Tell us about that second low point and how you got through that one.
Yeah, it was a beautiful sunset, and I'm just on hands and knees barfing on the side of the trail. But yeah, so I just threw up more. I think it was, I mean, I don't know if it was I don't think I got heat exhaustion during that section of Jerome because it really wasn't even that hot. But yeah, just, I don't know. Probably just poor nutrition. Just couldn't keep anything in. Nothing really sounded good that I had with me. And I just basically told Peter, my pacer, I was like, yeah, we just got to make it to the aid station. So when I got to the aid station, I sat in a chair and just I think somebody gave me ginger ale, which I threw up everywhere. And then my crew was like, all right, you need to take time off again. And so
around what mile do you think we're at this point?
It was let's see.
We have
so there's
charts.
An 8 mile section. There's an 8 mile section, and I was fine for that. And you get to an aid station, I think. And then there was a 13 mile section.
Was it Deer Pass area?
Yeah.
That you stopped at again? Because between Jerome and there's Dead Horse Ranch.
I was fine there.
Okay, and then Deer Pass. You kind of had to take another stop. So around mile 148.
And that was about probably another hour and a half or so, maybe.
And you slept as well then?
I slept for probably 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
There again.
Okay, got it.
Slept a lot in a short time frame. I was like, oh God, this can't keep happening.
But it from this side, honestly, seemed very intentional and just it was working. It was it even kind of seemed well, she knows what she needs. I don't think we knew that you had slept there or for how long, but everyone was kind of, we were all just kind of it seems like that's working for her,
Yeah.
So may as well keep doing it.
Yeah. Whoever I picked up next, I think it was maybe my buddy Jake. But whoever I picked up next, I was like, we have to stop wasting time at the aid stations. I'm wasting so much time at these aid stations. Just and it was not time wasted because I needed all that time to recover.
Yeah.
But I'm so efficient at aid stations. I think that's one thing that I've never had a crew before ever. I've never had pacers before ever. So that was one thing that was really new for me was how do I manage because it does. I mean, it takes a lot more time to coordinate 5 people.
Right.
like, hey, I'm trying to leave. Like, where's my stuff? When it's just you and an aid station. I think in the earlier parts of the section where there's no crew access, I came into an aid station, like, got there and was like, actually, I think I'm good. Like, I think I can just leave. And they were like, you are the fastest person who's been in and out of this aid station, like, the entire race. Because I was there for, like, less than 5 minutes. So I'm just so much more efficient usually.
Okay.
So that was another thing that was kind of like, just let go. Like, it doesn't matter. There is just
like, it doesn't
so
have
much
to
time.
be super sense of urgency kind of thing.
Yeah, there was like no urgency this race.
Okay.
Which I think was probably helpful, obviously.
So we're at mile 150-ish.
Yeah. I'm at mile 150.
Right along. Someone wanted to know if you liked the section after Jerome. But I don't know if you if you were not feeling well, maybe not.
I did like the section. My buddy Peter was pacing me. We did he's like the social media guru. So if you've gotten a message, you probably have him to thank. But yeah, he wanted to do a live stream.
We got that message in here.
I was watching you live.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was really fun.
Rachel Entrekin is now going live, and
yeah, that was so funny. He's such a hoot. Because I'm just so bad at social media, and I'm
well,
like,
you were also running a race and focusing on
that
what
is
you're
true.
trying to do.
That is true. But yeah, I don't know. It's so insane to me that people are so interested in what I'm doing, because like I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm anybody to be paying attention to. But yeah,
yes.
Pete
First
was
and foremost that, but also people are fascinated. I mean, we had 3,000 people at one point watching this thing, and people are just fascinated. And so to be able to get like a glimpse into like what is going on the ground, on the course, from the perspective of somebody in the race at that moment is pretty unique.
No, I mean, Peter crushed it. Like, right before the race started, he was like, just give me your phone, give me your Instagram.
Nice.
I had to change my password because I didn't even know what it was. But he just took over, and I cannot wait to watch everything that he did, because he is so good. I think this taught me that social media is definitely a skill that I don't have, but he does.
But it's also so cool because it's like he documented your race for you. So
he
you
did.
Can
I
it
know. I'm
that.
so excited. And I like want to show my parents, because my parents just have no idea what I'm doing. But they actually they were like, oh yeah, like Mika's doing this. And I was like, you know who's running this race? Like, and I'm sure that it's all because like Pete just made it. And like, this race is so well live streamed and like documented. They just like, my parents, when I called them after the race, they were like, oh yeah, we haven't slept in 3 days. Like we've been just watching the race. So it was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So 150, you're moving along. You're just basically in the mindset of, we got to keep going. We got to hit the next aid stations. Like talk us through kind of those last 100 miles.
Yeah. So like I said, I picked up Chalice, my friend Jake did about 50K, and then my friend Chalice did about 50K. And Chalice did a section that was pretty tame.
Okay.
It was like those 3 sections in a row that are kind of mostly fire roads.
Yeah.
And so that was when it was like, all right, we have an opportunity to like figure out nutrition.
So Sedona, Schnebly, Munns.
Oh, wait, I want to talk about Sedona.
Okay.
Can I backtrack?
Yes, let's talk about Sedona.
Sedona's so pretty. Okay, so we left, so Jake and Jake is just like, I don't know. He's my homie. And so we've done a lot of cool runs together. I mean, there have been so many runs where like we've just gotten to the top of like this incredible peak and just like wept and just like hugged and just like moved on. So he's really cool. And there's just a lot of situations where we'll just like be somewhere epic and just look at each other and just, I don't know. He's just cool. So having him through Sedona was really awesome.
Nice.
And we hit whatever that aid station is right before Sedona. We left there around 4 a.m. And so by the time we got down into the canyons, it's like the sun is kind of creeping up. Mm-hmm. And so it was ridiculous. Like I don't know what those like rock structures are actually called, but like we got to see them go from like black to blue to red. And it was just like, both of us just were like, our brains were just like on the ground. It was so awesome. And nice. I was crying and he was crying and we're just like hauling through this section. It was such fun running.
Nice.
And at one point, Because at that point I was pretty like accustomed to like drones following me around.
Yeah.
But at one point there was a drone that was following us and he absolutely biffed it. So he like full on Supermaned in front of this drone, and then we rounded the corner and there's the drone driver. I don't know what the drone people are called, but
drone pilot.
The drone pilot.
Jake literally just put that in the chat just now.
Oh my gosh, it was we both were just laughing our butts off. And he rounded the corner and the guy was like, if you're wanting to know, yes, I did get that. And it will probably be on a highlight reel. So I really want to find, if anyone knows where that is, I really want to find it and watch it. Because that was such a hilarious moment. Of just like, I don't know. It was funny. But yeah, but that section, Sedona, was spectacular.
Awesome. So cool.
Yeah.
So Deer Pass to Sedona, there's a water station in between there, but it's like a 17-mile stretch, and the only thing available for 8 is water. But then you get into Sedona, you're at 162. Did you sleep anymore?
I actually don't think I slept the rest. After that second sleep of about 45 minutes, I don't think I slept the rest of the race.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I dropped Jake off, and I did, I think, get sick again. With Jake coming up into the aid station off the fire roads, I had a really slow time getting into that aid station.
Okay.
And I can't remember Manuela. Is that her name?
Manuela.
She actually, in her really awesome pacer, Victor, I think.
Yeah.
With the cool hair.
Aravipa
dude.
employee.
Oh my gosh, his hair is.
Yeah,
I was
I
just
know.
like, you're such a vibe.
I totally.
But they passed me and they were so nice.
Was he wearing? Yeah, I think he wears sandals.
He did. He was wearing sandals.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my pacers is a sandal guy.
Oh man, that's.
I don't
Jeez.
get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't
Okay.
get it. But they passed
More power
me. And,
to you.
Yeah, they passed me and they were really kind. But yeah, I got to the aid station. I wasn't feeling well, and that was when I picked up Chalice, and it was like, okay, we have some easy sections. We need to figure out how to like fuel these sections because I'm not. I've just felt so bad, and I don't want to feel bad when I'm running.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we kind of did the strategy of like small things. She was asking me to eat something every like 15 to 30 minutes, which I
Good
don't
pacer.
ever. Yeah, she. I mean, that was such a turning point.
Nice.
I think during the race.
Cool.
So I think negative split every single section, which was wild. I think to me.
Nice.
I don't know how they even calculated that, but yeah. And so then by the time we got through that kind of 30-mile section where I had her.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that aid station was called, but my buddy Philip had shown up too.
Okay.
And he told me later, he was watching at home in Ventura. He lives in Ventura, California. And I was doing really badly. Or like I was feeling really sick and stuff. And so he was like, oh, like I should go and like show up and like maybe I can like raise her spirits. And then by the time I came into that aid station, I was like, oh my God, everything's amazing. And he was like, okay, well, apparently I didn't even like, what am I doing here?
Nice.
But yeah, and so like seeing him.
Was it Fort Tut Hill?
Fort Tut Hill, maybe?
The big kind of
where
like,
they had the medic?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we saw you in there on the live stream. You were in there at the same time as Manu.
I was.
And
I had just passed her.
We couldn't tell like what was going on because we had eyes on her. She was taking some time changing her shoes. She was eating, and she even closed her eyes for a couple minutes. And then we saw you with the medic. We were like, "Oh no,
I
she's
was
talking
fine.
to a medic."
I
But
thought
it was
we
the
had to do
check.
a check.
It was
Yeah.
the cognition checks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then we finally figured out that that's what was going on, and it looked like you were about ready to leave. So yeah, so you left Fort Tut
So
Hill.
I left, yeah. And we passed Manuela, I think right before that aid station. And I mean, I was running up the hills.
Nice.
I mean, it's like mile, whatever that is. What mile is
Yeah,
that?
it's about 2:10.
I mean, I was like, what is this? Because
but
just
let's
felt,
go with it. What
I
is
felt
this?
so,
But I'm gonna take
so
it.
when I remember the medic was like, "How are you doing?" And I was like, "I feel better than I did at the start of the race." And like,
Wild.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I felt so good leaving that aid station.
Wild. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I picked up another pacer. Who was next? Oh, I picked up Peter again.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, we just kind of hauled. Oh, and actually, that section was when I think I found out that Mika had to take time off the course.
So okay.
Which was wild.
Okay.
Because I was very. I mean, she had such a strong race. I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was kind of checking up and like seeing like, well, can I even like pretend like I can catch her? And I think at one of the aid stations that I was at with Chalice previously, I had asked like, oh, like how's Mika doing? And she was 20 miles ahead of me. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm not going to catch like second sounds fine. Like I'm not going to get close to that.
At one point, she was a couple hours ahead of the men's course record pace.
Dude, she was like, what in the world?
Yeah,
She's
it was
such
wild.
a savage. But yeah. And so I was like, well, you know, I had no intention of like winning. I have no intention of winning anything.
Yeah, you win a lot, and you
I
said
know.
you're competitive, so I don't know if I buy it, Rachel.
That's
but
fine. Yeah, I guess it is like a weird, mental cognitive dissonance.
But it also sounds like you're wanting to like enjoy it. You just want to do your best.
I just want to do my best.
Exactly.
And,
Which
I just want to do my best.
Probably going to bring out the best performance anyways. And so,
but yeah, and so I was very much just like, okay, well, like I just want to like put up a good whatever I'm doing, and if that's second place, then fine.
Yeah.
And I remember about 5 or something miles into that next section, my Peter, he was like, Mika's off the course. And I was like, Mika's off the course? And he was like, yeah, like you are in first. And I was just like, I'm in first? Like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Like, I was not expecting that because she looked so strong and she was just so far ahead.
Yeah.
And so I think, I guess it kind of just like lit a fire under my ass a little bit. And so I just I remember, I think over the course of about like 3 miles, I went from, I think 2.5 miles ahead of Manuela to 5.5. And I mean, I ran everything and I was feeling really good.
Nice.
I remember Peter was just like, what? Because this was Peter's first race experience ever.
Oh, wow.
Like he's really new to trail and ultra running.
Okay.
He's not even raced himself.
Okay.
And so he was kind of a last minute crew addition because
And then he finds himself in the middle of having to lead the race with his runner.
Yeah, I had some like crew shuffling about 2 weeks before the race.
Okay.
Which was super awesome. And so, but it wound up, I mean, it obviously wound up being for the best. I mean, Evan he did Southern States, which was that 200 miler by, I don't remember, David Tosh, perhaps.
Okay.
That's like in Alabama and Georgia. But he got injured and he was supposed to pace 100 miles with me. And so it's like, oh God, like, what am I going to do? But he wound up just seamlessly transitioning to crew chief and it was fine.
Nice.
And then Peter was a late addition. So yeah, he really, I think Peter probably is like eyes the size of like giant plates. But yeah, and so during that section I found out I was in first. I was able to run really well. And so just kind of tried to continue that right up until about Elden. And then Elden just broke everything.
Okay, we're going to pause in the story because
there's a
we're going to
person.
leave on a cliffhanger of Elden. We will revisit the Elden climb in a moment here, but we're going to bring in another runner.
I believe this is Rhonda Bompeza Zimmerman,
Ooh,
Rhonda Zimmerman.
Team Sedona, bib number 498, I believe. I haven't seen the bib on screen, but it's kind of the only runner in the area.
yep, in the 125. Okay, Rhonda Bompeza Zimmerman, 56 years old, just crushing a 125er here. Way to go, Rhonda. This is so cool. I mean, we have people, I don't know if you knew this, Rachel, but there were runners from 17 years old to 73 in the 250, and
That is
like
cool.
the 273-year-olds were still out there. The
think the
17-year-old,
his 14-year-old brother?
came in, and he was getting paced by his 14 or 16-year-old brother.
wild.
They came in right after you, actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he got 12th overall, or 12th. 12th overall. Yeah. So him, his
Oh
older
my
brother who's
God.
18, and then their mom who's getting ready to finish in the next little bit here. are
Just
all
a
running the
family
race.
affair.
Yeah, family of through hikers.
Dude, my family does not do this on vacation.
Oh, I know. Neither does mine. Like, definitely not.
We're going to like football games.
Yeah. So we've got Rhonda Bompeza Zimmerman making her way into the finish.
Making her way downtown.
Yeah.
Walking fast.
There she is. And super close now. Everyone is appreciative that you're sharing your story, Rachel.
Yeah. I'm actually glad I'm talking about it this close to the event because I would have probably forgotten.
Yeah, we can recap. Then you can just save this, go back.
Exactly. Be like,
Remember.
what happened? What happened here?
All right. Rhonda's getting super close here. We're going to follow her through the finish line, and then we're going to pick back up with the story about Elden.
Mount Elden.
Yes.
Rachel's climb up Elden.
Yes. Do we have audio, Bryce?
Muted on their end.
Okay, muted on their end. Because she's talking, I want to know what she's saying.
I was so grumpy finishing. She looks so much happier than I was. I was super grumpy. I'm so sorry to everyone.
Pretty much everyone looks happier than I was when I finished 2 years ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Wouldn't take much.
Yeah, Bree was sharing with us that she was suffering multiple things.
Multiple ailments
at
coming
the-
into that finish line, you
yeah.
know, contents of the intestines coming out both ends of the body at the same time.
Yeah, I was really happy that it was only coming out the attic and not the basement. Because that, like, I don't know, as a woman trail running, you have to, like, get all the way off the course. There was, like, men just peeing on the course.
I lost all sense of boundaries, and I did not get very far off the course.
Good for you.
It was
You know what?
coming out
Good
the
for
basement
you.
For me.
Men were peeing on the course, so good for you.
As we watch here, Rhonda Bompenza Zimmerman getting ready to finish Sedona Canyon's 125.
Yay! Oh my God, look how happy she is.
Poles in the air. Woo! 56-year-old Rhonda Bompenza Zimmerman crossing that finish line.
Best last name in the race.
Yeah. Bompenza Zimmerman. If it wasn't on the screen in front of me, I would have long forgotten what it was. But congratulations to Rhonda. We are back on an aerial view drone shot of Mount Elden.
Boo.
Rachel has some
I have some
thoughts
feelings about Mount Elden.
Elden.
Yeah, I hated that climb. But yeah, okay, so I picked up Jake, I dropped off Pete, and actually and I think this is relevant. So right before I got to whatever that aid station was, right before that Elden section, I tripped and fell and
Walnut Canyon?
Walnut Canyon, yeah.
Okay.
So right before then, I tripped and fell, and I hit my hand right on my thumb. And this was the first time I'd ever used poles. And thumbs are important when using poles. And so that entire section Jake was my last pacer. And so that entire section with Jake, I was probably making all these terrible noises because my thumb was killing me, and I was having to use these friggin' poles, and like putting my body weight through my hurt thumb was really annoying. But yeah, and so I picked up Jake. I think at that point, I didn't really know where the second place woman was, but it was just like, whatever, just keep moving. Like it does, like you're gonna do fine. And kind of in the back of my head too, I was like, I kind of want to, like, what is the course record on this course? Because I was just feeling so good that it was like, well, why can't I just like try for this?
Okay. So at this point, you kind of inquired about like,
Yeah, I think
what
or
would
maybe
it take to?
and maybe someone even told me
Okay.
that I was like ahead of course record pace at some point.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because like I'll just keep running whatever this pace is.
Yeah.
And so I picked up Jake, left. I ran I ran all of leading up to Elden, I think super well.
Okay.
I was still able to kind of trot the uphills even.
Okay.
And then, yeah, Mount Elden, I hated that climb. I don't know what it was.
Well, it's not easy on fresh legs.
It was really, it was so
technical.
hard. And I just kept asking Jake, I was like, where is the top? I'm like weeping and I'm like, where is the top? I don't see it. Cause I knew there was an aid station up there and I just kind of expected to be able to like either hear or see anything. And I just kept looking up and there's just black nothing ahead of me. Except for, it was just so upsetting. That climb was just deeply
And even once
upsetting.
you get up there, you're like, wait, where is
Nothing
it?
was
Where
there.
is it?
Nothing was there. And
Yeah,
I don't know. I just didn't study the course.
You were
super
anticipating
great, I guess.
an aid station.
Was just going to be right there.
So yeah, everyone. So
There's nothing there.
just so people know, the
Yeah.
very top, I guess.
Tell
is
the people what's there.
Well, the very top there are just some towers, and sometimes some trucks. But yeah, the aid station used to be at the very very top, and just because of the wind and
It
like
was
blowing
freezing.
blowing things over, it was just unsustainable. So they moved it half a
Down a
mile,
little
half
bit,
to
yeah.
3/4 of
Oh,
a
it's
mile.
up a hill, though. Don't forget.
It's up a hill.
Yeah.
You go down and you go up.
Oh, that hill has a segment name. It's called That S Hurts on Strava
Duh.
because everyone doesn't like that little bump and
Oh my
climb back up,
gosh.
which I can't imagine after 250
Dude,
miles.
I was like, oh, it's all downhill from here. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
So eventually you did get to the Elden aid station.
I got somewhere, and there's a guy in a Santa suit.
Oh, yeah. That was Julian. Julian in a
That was
Santa
cool.
suit.
But yeah, and I don't even think I stopped at the aid station. I was just like, get me out of here. Like, get me off this mountain.
Nice.
I was just in such a,
So you
like,
didn't even stop.
I didn't even stop.
Okay.
I was just
awesome.
like, get me out of here. But yeah, so we finally, after what felt like a million questions of like, where is the top? We
Yeah.
finally got to the top,
Yeah.
made it down, and then back up to the aid station.
Yep.
And then I think I had about an hour and 15 minutes to get to the end.
Before under course
course
record.
and I was like,
it's 8.6 miles.
I know,
Hour
and
and
I-
15.
But I saw the
That's
fire. I
tight.
saw the forest, and I didn't study the course, and I saw the Forest Service Road, and I was like, well, let's just haul ass, and like, so I mean, I was probably dropping. I don't know. Actually, I guess I don't know how fast I was going, but Jake and I were moving down that Forest Service Road.
Nice.
Like we were
Well,
going fast.
That's awesome. You have the legs to do that at that
Yeah,
point in
I was
time.
actually pretty shocked, but I think I just didn't prepare for the ending. I didn't know that I was going to get back on another
Have to
trail.
go through Buffalo Park.
I just thought it was
Yeah.
going to be downhill, and then
And then
Jake.
the finish line.
Yeah, I just thought it was gonna be like done, and it wasn't. So fun fact, it's not. But yeah, and actually Jake and I just kept asking Jake. I was like, "Where's the finish line? Where is it? Like, where is it?" And he was like, "Oh, it's like another mile," and it was not. So I was just, like I said before, I finished. I think the only part of the race that I'm not happy with is like my attitude finishing, because I was just so like Mount Elden just broke everything inside of me, and I just was so cranky and like tired, and I guess I thought I was gonna get to Elden, and it was literally all gonna be downhill, and I
Yeah.
felt like I'd been tricked.
Oh, shoot.
So yeah, because there's quite a bit of uphill, I guess.
Kind of in that
Maybe it
Buffalo
felt
Park,
like-
rolling a little bit of,
Yeah, it's very
meandering.
roll-
and-
Even
rolly.
before you get to Buffalo Park, even I remember an uphill that I said to
I
my
was just like,
chaser,
what is-
no.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? We're on the top of the is Mount Elden the highest peak? What's the highest point on this course?
Elden.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah,
of
92.
course,
I was like,
100 feet.
surely it's all downhill, but
Yeah.
it's not. So I was anyway, but we finished, and then I was done,
You finished and
Yeah.
you won.
and I won, and that was just like a bonus. But yeah, like I said, I think I had another like goal, and it was because I had a lot of support to get me to this race.
Okay.
I'm a physical therapist by trade, but that means a lot of school loans. So I just don't have, and like I'm from Alabama, and there's just like not a lot of trail. I mean, there's some trail running out there, but like my family doesn't really run, and like no one that I know runs like this, especially growing up. So like I don't know. I don't have a lot. I haven't historically had much support, especially financially, getting me to races that are bigger.
Got it.
So I have, someone said before, I have won a lot of races, but I have often felt like they are smaller races.
well.
And so that kind of holds like less esteem than like, oh, like Cocodona 250. And it's an expensive.
Yeah, it's an
Hobby?
expensive sport.
Something
for
I
sure.
was noticing in your Instagram stories, a lot of people, I know you haven't really watched them all yet, but a lot of people were commenting and saying, hey, someone needs to sponsor this girl. Like, why is she not sponsored?
Yeah.
So you live in Alabama?
I live in Los Angeles now.
Okay,
I'm
got
from
it.
Alabama.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So
Go ahead, Bree.
I was curious to ask you, if you were to have a sponsor, who would you want to be sponsored by?
Trader Joe's.
That is the best answer I've ever heard.
Trader Joe's. Scandinavian swimmers are
Not-
the greatest food.
Non-endemic sponsorship. You can
Yeah.
wear any shoes you want and
Whatever.
be fully fueled all the
Dude, they have-
time.
well, they have and I mean, I could just buy dinner. Like, can you imagine how much money
I could
that
just
is
buy
what-
dinner.
That is
Just
what
let me buy
so
dinner.
Trader Joe's is the best sponsor, but I like Topo the shoes. I
Did
wore
you wear shoes?
Topos the entire.
You wore Topos the whole time. All right, Topo.
I actually, yeah, Topo.
Listen
Topo.
up. Listen up.
But yeah, I had a pair of Ultras that I was planning to maybe wear. They were a size and a half, or a size half size up.
Okay.
Like just in case my feet started to blow up. But my feet feel great. I have like 2 blisters
Yeah.
all of my toenails are here. I don't know where my shoes went, actually. I think they're by the door. But yeah, so I feel really good. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I've tried a little bit, kind of half-assed. And again, I think there's a lot of, I can't remember what that like psychological effect where you don't feel like you're
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. I have a lot of that. So I've tried a little bit in the past with getting sponsorships, and I'm just like, well, they said no. Okay, that's fine. Like they're probably right.
This might put some eyes on that and change that
Topo
for
might
you.
be,
I've
for
already,
sure. Out to you.
I've gotten a lot of emails.
Good.
But
As you should. I mean, it's a huge thing. So you ran a extraordinarily fast time. You were only ended up about 50 minutes, I think, off course record.
all of that was Elden.
All of it was Elden. Okay, damn Elden.
Man,
Curse you, Elden.
I do, and I don't want to go visit that part of the course again, because like I want to do. I don't know. It's just. That was such a negative.
Give it some time. Yeah. Then you can reframe that and
I'll just go do it today.
No.
just kidding.
That would be epic, but also
I won't do it. Although I do, I think me and my crew, because this has kind of just been like a vacation, I think, for like me especially. This has just been so much fun. And then, we're going to go, I think, to the Grand Canyon.
Nice.
Somebody on my crew Evan, my crew chief, is from North Carolina. And so he's never been to the Grand Canyon.
Gotta go
and we're an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
So, and it looks beautiful outside. So we're going to go do that after this, I think. I don't know. But like I said, I've had a lot of support in getting to this point.
Yeah.
That has not been from a formalized sponsorship.
Sure.
And I actually really love that. I did a GoFundMe.
Nice.
Because like I said before, I have a pretty big year that I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to go to Greece. I'm trying to like figure out what race I want to do to try to qualify for the USA team in France, which is in 2025.
Okay.
So, I mean, all those
for
things.
For the 24-hour team?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, all those things in this race, I mean, in and of itself is quite expensive. So, like, all those things just cost a lot of money. I probably spent $600 last week at REI. It's just like, I didn't even own a Sun shirt, and now I somehow have 3.
Nice.
Yeah. It's just an expensive hobby, and I've had so much support around, especially this race. So it's really, I don't know. I kind of have always said like, I'm just a normal person that just happens to really love running far. Because I do sometimes feel like, you have these professional athletes who get paid to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
Like you can just enjoy this enough, and like it will just maybe work out.
Well, there's a lot of people in the sport, and especially the very long distances. And it looks like you have a kind of an FKT background too. Mm-hmm. So that's, doing it for the love of just those adventures and all of that is the right place to start. I just
really love running.
That's awesome.
I think it's so fun. And I think especially, and I think the narrative is changing a little bit, but like, running just makes me as a small petite female just feel so powerful, and
love
like
it.
Especially the FKT stuff. I really love unsupported long FKTs.
Nice.
So the first FKT I ever did was around Mount Rainier, the Wonderland Trail that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
and I just remember I was like, I just did 100 miles by myself. Like that is the cool,
so
like,
empowering.
There are no aid stations.
It's so remote out there too. Yeah.
I mean, there's no service. Like if you have to finish, like pretty much. So I think there have probably been a couple turning points along my my running trajectory. But I definitely think the first time I finished the Wonderland Trail, it was like, this feels like a turning point. Like I can probably do this.
Nice.
So
a little less of that imposter syndrome and
maybe I don't know.
Booster. Keep working on that.
Yeah,
you're awesome. Well, massive congratulations, Bree. Any other questions for Rachel?
Inspired by
Thanks.
you. What I know you mentioned Spartathlon. Anything else coming up that you're signed up for?
I'm taking the summer and just going to the Sierra.
Nice.
I love the Sierra Nevada. I love that mountain range. I think it's so magical. So, I'm probably going to take, I don't think I'm going to do any races this summer, actually. I'm just going to spend some good time. I actually just got a pretty fancy job promotion. So that's been a little bit difficult.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Mostly what it's meant. I love what I'm doing. It's just a lot of work. So actually I got this promotion in February. And it's turned into like 50 plus hours of working. And it's like, that does not coincide with how I'm supposed to be training for this race. But I got some really great sleep deprivation training, which I guess has been helpful. But yeah, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to like this race being over. And now it's like, okay, now I get to figure out like, what do I want my life to look like a little bit now that this is over? Because maybe this is another one of those turning points. It does kind of feel like a little bit of a turning point because I got like 2,000 followers on Instagram overnight,
For sure.
which is weird. And I don't know. So maybe this is something. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of spend the summer figuring out what I want to do. Yeah. And then Spartathlon is in late September, so I'll do that. And then probably I really love doing fixed time events in the winter because there's not much else to do. And they're fun. I like them. So yeah, I'll probably figure out what race I want to do in the winter to try to qualify.
Yep.
Because I think the minimum qualifying standard is 125. So I'll try to find a good race. Maybe I'll just do Across the Years again. That's such a fun race.
Cool.
Love Across the Years. Plug for Across the Years.
ATY.
Yeah, super
Across
fun.
the Years.
But yeah, and then I don't know. I'm really historically always late with signing up for races. Cocodona is actually, I signed up in, I think it was November.
Yeah.
That's like the earliest I've signed up for anything. So you just have like 8 months to just panic about like, what am I doing? What am I doing? But yeah. So
Okay, a couple quick questions if you have another moment in the chat.
No,
okay.
I'm going to the Grand Canyon, but that's all.
All right, sweet. So somebody wants to know if your physical therapy background helped you during the race or if you think that's an advantage.
I definitely, I didn't notice so much during this race, but it is a huge advantage, I think. Any sort of healthcare, if you know a healthcare provider and you're a runner, like become their friend. Because it is a huge advantage
And
just
bring
to be
them
like
in your crew.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, like, because it's, there's always that question of like, is this an injury or is this just something that sucks right now? And I've I think been able to, I've never had a serious injury running. And I do think I've had to drop out of, I think only 2 races. And it was because like my knee or my toe or something was like, this doesn't really feel good. So I definitely think having that knowledge of like when I need to back off either in a race or in training has been super beneficial.
And then additionally paying attention and listening to that because
well, when you're telling yourself something, it's easy to listen. But yeah, so
okay.
So I definitely think that I think it's a huge advantage. And 2, like if I have weak points, because like women and hip strength is always like the thing.
Yep.
So I know how to train those, and I know how to strengthen things, and I don't know. I think being a PT is a huge advantage.
Totally,
for
I
sure.
could see that. And then there also, we kind of like got into this fear and loathing theme and Hunter S. Thompson and all kinds of stuff because we were looking at your background and having run the fear and loathing.
That race is so fun.
I want to go do it.
It's so fun. You should come.
I'm a massive fan of Hunter S. Thompson.
It's such a good race. You should come do that race.
I will for sure. But
it's free.
No way. That's
it's
wild.
a free 50 miler.
Oh, because you get to like stop at like
you can do whatever
gas
you want.
stations and
you can do whatever you want on that
right.
race. It's so much fun.
So
they have a 50
like
miler and a
list.
35, I think, miler. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I hope I see you there. I do it every single year. It's so much fun.
Awesome. I'd love to do it, and it brought a lot of a new theme to the live chat.
Are you serious?
We were throwing like quotes, Hunter S. Thompson quotes in the chat and stuff like that.
Oh, dang! I feel like I missed out on.
Yeah. Well, you can go back and watch it. It's all recorded.
I should. I guess.
You can go back and check it out for sure.
Okay. I need to do that.
Awesome. Well. Any other questions?
Great having you on.
Yeah,
I'm so
thanks.
inspired by you. Like I said, I've been following you since you did the Wonderland Trail FKT
back in my baby days.
I don't even remember what year that was now.
2018, maybe.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But
yeah,
I'm so inspired by you. Super excited to watch and see what you're going to continue to do from here.
Thanks. Yeah,
Good luck going through all those 5,000 emails and Instagram followers that you have.
Thanks. I'll be doing that on the drive, I guess.
I'm sure there's some great opportunities in there. So no doubt.
Maybe one from Trader Joe's.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Trader Joe's. We need you sponsoring races. We need you sponsoring athletes.
So a really long time ago, I actually asked Little Debbie to sponsor me. This was, I mean, I wasn't even I don't even think I was doing ultras. But yeah, I was like, I think this is a great opportunity for your demographic to expand. Like
There's a
ultra
pitch.
runners love this. Like oatmeal cream pies. Have you ever had one?
Oh yeah.
Like,
No, my friend Todd, he's like, you get the big ones and there's 380 calories right there.
380
He loves it.
and
They're
they're-
cheap. They're
they're not too sweet either.
Yeah.
Because it's oatmeal.
Yeah.
So it's healthy. But yeah, so yeah. Oh, that's
we
Hostess,
got
though.
Hostess
You're a
versus
traitor.
Little Debbie. I don't know. That
but anyway,
debate's gonna happen.
But yeah, but little Debbie was like, that is weird. We're not doing this. Nah, it's fine.
They just missed a big
They
opportunity.
missed a huge
to
opportunity.
expand their demographics.
Oh,
So
totally.
maybe Trader Joe's will take the high road.
Yeah, I think maybe
I don't know.
they will. We're
I'll
onto
talk, I'll
something.
talk to them. I live right down the street from one. So
Yes.
we'll see.
Sounds good. We will work on the Trader Joe's sponsorship for Rachel Entrekin, and in the meantime, continue recovering well. And
Thank you.
yeah, super excited for everything you have coming up. Thanks so much for coming over.
Yeah, thanks
All right.
for having me.
Rachel Entrekin, everybody, winner of this year's race.
Yay.